Hi, I'm Greg McIntyre with McIntyre Elder Law, and I'm talking today about heir representation. What is heir representation? So, we do a ton of litigation in regards to probate. So, heir representation really is talking about an heir in a probate estate. A probate estate, probate court, is where a will has to be submitted in order to pass any assets. A will is not worth the paper it's written on until it's submitted to a probate court, and it can only be done so after someone has deceased. So if a loved one passes away, let's say you're the executor, you know where the will is, you go get the will, or you've been given the will during the person's life to keep for safekeeping. You submit that to the probate court, and then you're the executor if you're qualified by the court to do so. And you're given authority to transfer assets under the rules of the will, under the watchful eye of the probate court. But let's say you're an heir of that will, and an executor's come in, and maybe you have a tenuous relationship with that sibling or that executor, that uncle, whomever it is, and you don't really trust this person is going to be fair and equitable and really follow the rules as set forth in the will. Now, this is not the biggest concern in a will because the court is going to ensure that assets are distributed under the will. But I have seen many cases where an executor may be biased. An executor may not be adhering to their legal duties. They may be violating their legal duties by misappropriating funds, by misappropriating assets within the probate estate, by really showing a bias toward themselves if they're also an heir, because the executor can also be an heir in receiving assets in a probate estate, or toward other heirs. And they're trying as much as possible to leave you out of the loop. So it could be as simple as you needing great communication. It could be, more devious. You feel like somehow the assets, even under the legal rules, are working against you, and you're not getting your fair share under the will. It could also be an interpretation of the wording of the will that is somehow unclear. That's why I'm a huge fan in estate planning and drafting of a will, in being super clear on how assets are appropriated, how they're divided, who they're given to, if someone is disinherited from a will, just being straightforward and extremely clear in communication and written communication in that will. A result of cloudy communication or poor drafting of a will could be an executor interpreting who gets what. And maybe they're interpreting it one way, and you're reading the interpretation, your interpretation of that will and how it's written is different. That could be a good opportunity for you to meet with an estate planning or elder law attorney like myself and engage us for heir representation to put forth or call into question to the court the interpretation of that will and the distribution of assets and how they're split. It could be as simple as coming in as an attorney of record for you as the heir in the probate case matter at the courthouse to make sure that you receive great communication, that we work with the executor or their attorney to ensure and make just uber, clear what the will says, and you're informed and you're getting your fair share and have representation. So that's really a summary of heir representation. If you are in this situation or find yourself in this situation, myself, our attorneys at McIntyre Elder Law would be glad to assist you. You can reach out to us, and we would offer a free consult to sit down and discuss, either in person, virtually over the computer, or by phone. You can call to schedule that free consult, 1-888-999-6600, or you can go online to mcelderlaw.com. That's mcelderlaw.com /scheduling, mcelderlaw.com/scheduling, and you can schedule right on our calendars from your computer, or your phone. I'm Greg McIntyre, estate planning and elder law attorney. Our firm is committed to helping you and your family protect your assets and legacies and maximize those, minimize taxation, and have great legal representation in the courts. Give us a call. Until next week, Morgan, what's our topic next week on our live?
Let's do,
I would say trust beneficiary representation. We've done some trust litigation talks lately. Let's focus specifically on trust beneficiary representation. Similar to heir representation, but not through a will and not through the court probate process, but through a trust. And what do you do if you're a beneficiary of a trust and you feel like the trustee is not doing what they're supposed to do? So we'll talk about that next week on our live, next Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook. See you then.